So here we are outside of Nevermore Books. Look at the sign, and their branding is just so beautiful. The store was gorgeous inside as well. They had so many vintage books, things that were signed copies, and we actually talked to the owner. She was working here. And oh, I didn't realize that skeleton is a mermaid. I saw the skeleton up there, but I didn't know that it was a mermaid. But yeah, we talked to the shop owner. She said this was a dream of hers and she started it 7 years ago. So it's a little different. They don't have like all the new bestseller books and things like that. It's definitely an eclectic bunch of books.
Tiger, tiger, burning bright, read a bloody book tonight, just go past the open door, don't buy one, buy 3 or 4, in the forest of the night. Turn off your phone, turn off your light, get out the ones you don't, get out the ones you bought tonight and let your mind just glide away. Miles to before your trip, and bear in mind that was shit.
I love that. Hold on.
There's no spiders or fish gulls.
So you want to walk? There's stuff up here too.
Huh?
Do you want to go up this way and see if you can find a store for jacket? 3 o'clock. We got an hour. So we absolutely enjoyed this store. We will be back. Like I said, they don't have like all of the books like there would be in a Books A Million or a Barnes & Noble or even like Walmart or Target. There is it's very condensed down, as you saw from that footage. I managed to find something, and Michaela managed to find something, but it was absolutely a fantastic stop in and look around type of place. If you are a book lover, if you love rare books, highly recommend coming here. It's exquisite inside. It's a little eerie in a few places, but other than that, I highly recommend coming in there. And as you saw on that sign, they do ship, so you can check them out on Facebook. I'll leave their information below for you guys because it's just incredible, and I hope that they have photos online. I'm sure that those photos would do it much more justice than I did trying to film. It was kind of packed in there a little bit, but hopefully we did it well. Here's a yarn store called Coastal Knitting, Yarns, Notions, and Classes. But I'm gonna be a good girl and not buy anything. You guys ready for the golf cart tour? You ready? My little windblown baby. You ready?
Yeah.
We're ready to learn some history about the town, some of the houses, and some movie facts.
Yeah. I started couldn't breathe in the seatbelt. Find some restaurants, some bars, some souvenir shops.
But a lot of these buildings are relatively newer per se, because in 1907 there was two 10-year-old boys that were smoking cigarettes inside of a hayloft. They caught the hayloft on fire, and that fire spread throughout Bay Street right here, destroying 40 buildings alone right here on Bay Street.
Oh, wow.
So with that, there's only a couple buildings that survived that fire, and the first one was this light pinkish building on our right-hand side, which is the Saltus Habersham building. The second one is directly across the street on the left-hand side with the green shutters, which is this John Mark Vadier house that was built in 1804. So when everybody evacuated Beaufort, the government put tax liens on all the properties so they could make money off all the homes when everybody came back here to the city. But that's whenever the carpetbaggers from the north came down, started buying up a lot of these properties here in the area. So John Mark Vadier was actually one of 3 people who was able to get his original home back after the war. And it was really by dumb luck that he was able to do so, just because it was still available. Okay, so as we cross this street here, if you'll direct your attention to the right, you'll notice that bridge there, and that's actually one of the few operating swing bridges still left in the United States. It'll actually open up 90 degrees on its center to allow large mass sailboats or large barges or anything like that through. That's also known as the Forrest Gump Bridge, because in the movie when he had the long hair and the shaggy beard, was running across country, he was actually running across that bridge right there.
Nice.
So whenever they filmed it, they actually put a Mississippi River sign up. This was before GPSs. So there was like 6 or 7 people that ended up going to the sheriff's station that day saying, hey, how the heck did I end up in Mississippi? I thought I was in South Carolina. So the sheriff had to actually go out and take the sign down so nobody else would come to his office being confused.
That is so funny.
And that's actually a true story. On the left-hand side here, we have what is known as the Louis Reeves Sam's house that was built in the year 1852. This is also known as the Prince of Tides house, because this was Nick Nolte's mother's house in the movie.
Oh, wow.
So one thing you'll notice about the houses down here is either the front of the house or the back of the house is going to be facing towards the water. The reason being, this was before air conditioners, so the only way they could cool their home down, open that front door and that back door, let that cool sea breeze come off the water and come through and cool the house down. If you'll notice the original hand-blown glass that was installed in the houses this house when it was built in 1852. This house was also involved in the 1907 fire, but they were able to use a bucket brigade from across the street here, put out the flames and save the house.
Oh, that's amazing.
Something to note though is that they were extremely lucky that it was high tide, because low tide, it's like this, and you're trying to put out a fire of pluff mud. I don't know how well that would work. I know I wouldn't want to try it.
Nope.
Okay, and then if you'll see the underside of the ceiling painted blue there, that is what is known as haint blue. And haint is the Gullah word for haunt. So here in just a little bit, we're going to be talking about sea hags and ghosts. And then lastly, on the front side here, you see these marble steps right there. See how they're all cracked and broken? So whenever during the skedaddle, remember those big wooden chests that they used to carry all their belongings in back in the day? So they say that they were packing those on the 2nd floor, obviously trying to get out of here in a hurry. So instead of carrying them down the stairs, they just threw them off the balcony of the 2nd floor down onto the stairs, and that's how all the stairs got cracked and broken like that.
That is crazy.
Here during that time was house fires. If anywhere is going to start a fire in your house, it's more likely going to be your kitchen, right? So therefore, they would detach the kitchen from the main home in hopes that if the kitchen caught fire, it would only be the kitchen that burned down and not the rest of the home. And then you can see on the left right here, they're growing cotton. Not that Sea Island cotton we were talking about, but cotton nonetheless. Okay, so the area that we are in right now is known as the Historic District, or what is more commonly known as the Point here in Beaufort. And all of the homes back here in this area are all privately owned homes.
Wow.
Okay, so on the left-hand side here, we have the oldest house in Beaufort, and this is the Thomas Hepworth house that was built in the year 1720. Thomas was the actual Chief Justice of Beaufort at the time, was given the piece of property with the contingent that he had to build the house on within 5 years. He did it within 3, so we got to keep the house and the property. Okay, so coming up here on the right-hand side, we have the Stoney house that was built in the year 1823. So again, please notice the back of the house facing the water there. And hi, puppy. She's beautiful.
Hi.
Hi.
Say hello.
Hello. Come on, say hello.
That's
Hi.
Mr. Cooper.
Mr. Cooper. Hi, buddy. How are you?
Hi, Coop. Hello.
Okay, let's go home. Let's go home. Come on.
Probably
Bye. Okay, bye-bye. Be good. Okay. Have a good day. I don't want to leave people. Okay, so this house was built as a summer home. So this house was actually meant to be lived in 3 months out of the year, while they would live on their plantation the remaining 9 months of the year. If you'll notice the garden, unfortunately, all I can tell you is that it's absolutely beautiful. And there's some white statued elephants in the back there.
Oh yeah, I see that.
But I can tell you about this tree right here, just to our right. And this is a southern live oak, and it's approximately 350 years old. And these trees actually grow from Virginia down to the northern part of Florida along the coast. And they need that salty air, the sandy soil. Next, they grow better in the shade than they do the sun. A fun fact about these trees, their branches will actually grow out as far wide as the tree is tall. And these trees are protected here in the area, so we'll talk a little bit more about these whenever we see some more along the route here. And then Zillow says that this place sold for $2.69 million. Wow.
That's not bad if you say it fast.
Right.
Stop.
Okay, so this house was built as a summer home, and they would build their summer homes here in the city because it was much cooler here in the city. Some very dry, still air out there at the plantations. Okay, so there was only a few houses that were meant to be lived in year-round. There's no better example of that than the castle right here.
Oh my word.
So this is the castle, and it was modeled after a castle on the England. You can actually see the castle-like features towards the top of the house there. And I apologize, guys, because this is the best view that I can get you. I'm not allowed to go down that road right there.
Oh, you're okay.
But construction started in this house in the year 1848, and we believe they finished in July or August of 1861, because Mr. Johnson, the original homeowner, was only able to live in his new home for a few months prior to having to evacuate in November of 1861. So Mr. Joseph Johnson was one of those three people who was able to get his original home back after the war, but he had to pay $2,000 in tax liens to be able to do so, which was quite a bit of money back then. Still quite a bit of money to me. It's the only one that I can't find the price of. It's not on Zillow. It's not in public records. So one of my realtor friends thinks it was a cash transaction. That's why there's no record of it.
Well.
Must be nice.
Yeah, absolutely right. Okay, if you'll notice the southern live oak branches coming across the road there with the resurrection ferns. Are any of you familiar with the resurrection ferns? These things are phenomenal. So you see how they're all green and full right now? It's because they've received rain. So when they don't receive rain, they become all dry and dormant, and they look so dry that it looks like if you touch them, they would just crumble. So say they were all dry and dormant right now. If we received rain tonight, at the latest 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, they would be full and green just like they are right now. Wow. It is remarkable the way these things work. And I'd never heard of them until I started doing this job.
Wow. That's amazing.
So we'll come back to these branches in just a second. We're just going to finish up on the back side of the house here.
Oh.
Look at this.
Be like, hello, I live here.
Isn't that beautiful? Wow. But the homeowners are actually some of the nicest people I've ever met. I think he's a financier from New York he and his wife came down and bought it a couple years ago.
Out of respect for the tour guide and the owner of the tour company, I decided to not film the entire tour, and I wanted to just share some photos along the way of some really beautiful homes that we did get to see. And I just loved this tour, and I would actually take it again because there's so much information that comes at you at rapid fire. It's hard to absorb it all, and it's just something that you really need to do while you are visiting Beaufort. So I hope you enjoy these photos. Thank you for taking a part of this tour with me and visiting the bookstore. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next video.